hell you doing, Brainiacs? Long Island Iced Tea here, ready to talk pro-graps with you. But I'm not just ready to talk pro-graps today, Brainiacs. I'm also ready to rock! And that's what we're going to do today. Tweet it, read it, tout it, shout it, be all about it. Bring the intensity, bring the energy, bring the passion for professional wrestling with us today on Brainbuster Radio. And I'm pumped, I'm jacked, I'm ready to rock and roll and wrestling. And we also have a man called Wired, the Sultan of social media, here and ready to do the same.
Doctor, if you can hear me, because I know it's going to be hard after what Long Island Iced Tea just did, can you lower the feed to our to our headsets? Because I have a feeling Long Island's going to be doing that pretty much the entire episode.
Gotta rock!
Jeez.
Long Island, I love it. You could just keep doing it. Dr.
How you people?
Turn the volume up in my headset, if you will.
You know what they say, Wired?
Triple J, shocker.
If it's too loud, you're too old. Dr. Calzones is blasting it, cranking it to 11 today on the Unos and Doses. Vidman's on limited dates. Also, he doesn't like loud noises. I mean, that's why he has hair in his ears. And then we have Moose the Mark on the Internet Gimmicks. We're hoping will show up today, but he is so conflicted about a certain thing that went down on Monday Night Raw, and then another thing that went down on SmackDown Live, and then another thing that went down on NXT. He's complaining on the internet about it all. Jumpin' Jacob J's here, though. I know he knows how to rock, and he knows how to tell us what's causing all this.
Long Island, that's right. We're going to rock and roll, strut and stroll today. A man called Wired, we're going to get to you a little more in depth later because I know that you did it. All right. I'm going to be impartial as a judge, but I know that you did it.
If the gloves don't fit, right?
Yeah. If the gloves don't
go
fit,
on.
I forget the rest of that. Just go with it. I just know that part.
Brainiacs, today,
if the glove don't fit, then Piper's Pit, right? I think that's how the saying is.
We'll find out if Piper's Pit today, because we're going to Brainbuster Radio Court later on today, Brainiacs, because, well, a man called Wired, he is being accused of colluding with Seth Rollins and other people in order to help that piece of crap win the Royal Rumble and main event WrestleMania. Wired, again, let us hear from your lips. Was there collusion?
Can you define collusion?
Yes.
No, there was not.
Seth Rollins.
There was not. No,
okay.
But
well,
you guys will have your evidence, I'm sure.
We'll put it to the test. We will do the things the right way in Brainbusters Court later on this episode. But we've got a lot of news this week in not just WWE, of course, but All Elite Wrestling had a big week. We've got to talk about some of that, some injuries that happened, and maybe the best debut of all time. A lot of things coming up today on Brainbuster Radio. But what's causing all this, Triple J, I have a feeling you're going to be telling us, is not a man, but the man.
Yeah, Long Island, you're correct about that one. The presumed main event of WrestleMania 35 this year, which we will all be partaking place at. The man, Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey in the ring. It ended in a suspension, even though, I mean, somebody will have to chat me up about this. It ended in a suspension, even though Becky was on SmackDown Live, and she's also been personally invited to Raw. So I don't know what definition they're using of suspension. But, yeah, Ronda Rousey, you're really seeing the kinks in her armor here, because she got the boo-boo face big time out there on Raw.
Well, a lot of boo-boos raining down on Ronda Rousey because the man is causing such a stir and everybody's getting all hyped up about it.
Hey, Virgil, how do you spell man?
Only one way to spell it. M-A-N. That's how we spell it.
Or B-E-C-K-Y.
Can you use it in a sentence play, please?
Becky Lynch suspended on Monday Night Raw, and then I think the suspension was, it was in effect, Triple J, but she just showed up on SmackDown Live. And
they allowed her in the ring.
And got in Triple H's face. Well, you don't want to be arresting your main event of WrestleMania. But then they tell Becky, go to the doctor, or you're off WrestleMania, you're suspended
no, that hasn't been
go
said
to the
yet.
doctor.
That
officially
was said, right? Well, I mean,
it's
they haven't told her that, but why? I mean, obviously Becky is worried that the doctor. I mean, this is in 1995, right? The doctors are going to hold her out if anything's wrong with her leg in any way, shape, or form. So I understand her concern, but I mean, is the WWE going to risk what could possibly be the biggest attraction at WrestleMania that they've created themselves for the most part because of a stupid leg injury?
Well,
she won the Royal Rumble with that leg.
Think of the backlash if they allowed her in that ring ward. It's 2019. This isn't 1984 here. The backlash that would happen if they allowed someone that was not medically cleared to be in that type of position.
What is this world we live in? Becky Lynch should be allowed to, make decisions about her own body. If her leg's broken, but she still wants to go out there and get her arm broken as well by Ronda Rousey, it's a free country. She should be allowed to go do that at WrestleMania. She earned the right by cheating to win the Royal Rumble. Now, of course, in a real just world, the Royal Rumble victory will be given to Charlotte, and she'll face Ronda Rousey.
How do you give a victory to a loser?
I think that ship is sailed.
She was the final legal entrant into the Royal Rumble.
So because she was the first place loser, she gets to be now the winner?
No, Becky Lynch was never legal in the Royal Rumble. But if we're living in this fantasy world where Becky Lynch did win the Royal Rumble, she should at least be able to fight injured or not. It's her body, her decision.
I don't see. Oh man, I don't see how. And I love how Becky's just making her way through the McMahons. It's probably going to be Vince next, or either Shane on Raw.
Listen here, pal.
You think if Vince McMahon calls Becky pal, I'm gonna lose it.
I just don't see how you're going to risk. Like I said, the money, the biggest draw that WrestleMania has to offer this year. I mean, they're just taking this away. They're taking this away. Basically, this is on the same level of not giving it to Daniel Bryan when he at least deserved the opportunity.
Well, I think this is Becky's. This is an issue of Becky's body, and it should be her right to go out there. If she won the Royal Rumble, that's what she gets to do. The McMahon family is interfering and making decisions for Becky's body. I think it's silly, but I think Ronda Rousey made herself look a little silly as well by getting worked up a little bit, by getting caught off by some of those boos. She took it out on the Riot Squad. We had Ruby Riot smart enough to get out of there before Ronda killed her, but now they're going to be facing off at Elimination Chamber, we hear. But what about what the man did to Ronda Rousey, not even on Raw, but on Twitter? Wired. I mean, you're the Sultan of social media. How crazy was this tweet that Becky Lynch put out, and what was the reaction to it?
Well, Becky Lynch has probably the best Twitter game going. I mean, she had it. I don't even know if it's still there. I'd have to look, but she was her current location on Twitter was inside Ronnie's head, which was the best.
I'm looking at it right now, and she's currently located back in Ronnie's head.
So
and her about me section of Twitter is Ronnie's shook.
She tweeted out a silent version of the conversation that Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch had in the backstage area after Becky Lynch was suspended, and basically for those who don't understand Ronda too much, put it in subtitles for people to enjoy. And I think Long Allen, you have offered to kind of replay or state, because I'm not taking a crack at this.
I want to translate the tweet into a vocal, language, a way that people could hear it on a podcast. It's hard to talk about, and you got to translate it. So that's what I'm going to try to do right now. So if you don't have access like Triple J to social media, either you're not the 4G or 5G doesn't get to you, or
just borrow a friend's account.
Don't know how to use it. I don't know, but if you're not on Twitter, the man Becky Lynch said in texts. This text portion said, "Going to Raw again this week. Hope I have another one of these special moments with Ronnie." And she accompanied that with a 28-second video that it has no volume of her confrontation with Ronda Rousey on Monday Night Raw. but there are subtitles. And
fictional subtitles.
And this is not what was said on Monday Night Raw. This is Becky Lynch translating what Ronda Rousey is saying to all of her fans, and I'm going to now read that translation as best as I can. Here we go. Hello, real champ. They have me do this back here because I suck at this, and now the people know, and I'm saying things in long sentences that run on, and I do it really fast. I do use big words for no reason. I love long sentence with words and have no place there. So bippity boppity boo, and I can't stop doing it. Please help me. I have auspicious and two osculators and perfugious and secretitiousness, and I'm
Sisters of Shanghai. What is a dream if not a big dream?
Good Lord.
That pretty much explains a Ronda Rousey promo at this point,
well,
right?
Of course, this is exaggerated, and it's intentionally made to be humorous. But really, this is what Ronda. This is what she does. She wired. You can say this, and first of all, Long Island, we'll get back to this next week. But if anyone knows about women's rights, it's Wired. So I'm really interested to hear what he has to say next week, whenever we have more time. But Ronda, she starts gritting her teeth. You're right. She keeps saying run-on sentences. She talks really fast. She gets right in her face, and the man just kind of stands there and smirks. And I think that's more effective than anything Ronnie can say.
Well, that location in Becky Lynch's Twitter account isn't wrong. She's in Ronnie's head, and she's gotten into what appears to be more than just her head. I feel like she's just kind of crushing Ronda's spirit. She's not letting her focus. I mean, this is going to be bad for Ronda.
And Ronda, she is still a rookie. Let's remember that she's still a very green rookie. In this sport. At least she's gonna, this is the first time she is running into some of this.
And you can't tell me that Becky Lynch doesn't have the submission capabilities, or at least probably the better submission capabilities that Ronda's ever faced in the ring. Even Charlotte doesn't have the submission capabilities of Becky Lynch.
I think you guys are underestimating Ronda Rousey. Just because Ronda's getting real worked up and she's talking really fast and using just fantastic vocabulary that is exceeding any expectations that someone might have watching professional wrestling from a pro wrestler. I mean, the amount of syllables that Ronda Rousey might use in a sentence that she's speaking really quickly, and I mean, it's just crazy. But you have to also understand that Ronda Rousey is worked up as she's able to harness that nervous energy, that anger, and usually come out victorious. That's what you have to be worried about if you're Becky Lynch. I love that Becky Lynch is cool, calm, and collected, but Ronda Rousey, she has a different kind of style from that, and she gets rowdy, she gets angry, and she gets worked up, and she moves some things. And she also responded on Twitter to that entertaining translation from Becky Lynch. She said, quote, "I've had 7 knee surgeries and no one's ever seen me limp. Hashtag ice and Advil, bitch."
Okay, but in fairness,
whenever you have
she's
one
also only
pay-per-view every 4 months and you don't have TV once a week, of course people aren't going to see that.
Well, and she also lost twice and we didn't see her for 6 years. So come on, Ronnie.
Well, I don't think it was 6 years, but in response to all of this, WWE Hall of Famer, Ring of Honor asshole, and great radio show host of Busted Open, Bully Ray, tweeted out a GIF of the Death Star blowing up a planet. Which
the Death Star.
I don't know if he's saying that Becky's the Death Star or if Ronda is. I feel like this is like 2 Death Stars colliding at WrestleMania, Triple J, and arguably the biggest WrestleMania match of all time when we're talking about potentially the first ever women's match to close a WrestleMania. I mean, we're getting a build up to a match that is worthy of that spot for sure, because this is all I could talk about this the entire show today.
People have always been saying, what would happen if Death Star #1 and Starkiller Base, met each other in the middle of that ring. And I think we're going to be able to see it this year.
Don't forget, we're talking about action stars too. at WrestleMania going at
movie stars.
Bona fide movie stars. Huge movie stars. Becky Lynch, the star of the Marine 6 Close Quarters. Ronda Rousey, the star of Mile 22 and the Expendables 3.
Movie,
I mean, we're talking about legit stars, Oscar-worthy stars in a main event. I mean, this is, we had John Cena and The Rock, but John Cena wasn't as big in movies as Becky or Ronda is at that time. But now we have in their prime movie stars, the best in the WWE. They should give them all 3 hours on Raw, I think, this coming week.
It wouldn't be a bad decision.
I mean, Seth Rollins isn't going to show up. He's obviously hurt and milking injuries or trying to avoid showing up to get questioned about colluding with Wired and hiding during the Royal Rumble. So you don't have him. Brock Lesnar's not going to show up. You're not allowed to watch tag team wrestling anymore, Triple J. Why not just give Becky and Ronda 3 hours on Raw with the McMahons?
Well, yeah, make sure the McMahons are there.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, it's probably not something they're going to do, but in case there's a big snow or something, they could just do like a live phone interview between Ron and Becky. And I think that would cover it all.
That usually makes for the best WrestleMania main events. Of course, Becky was suspended, and on SmackDown she was, face to face and yelling with Triple H, and he got angry at her. But still, Becky Lynch was invited back to Monday Night Raw. Are you surprised by this, Triple J?
Of course I am, because you were suspended.
She slapped Triple H. She punched
you're
Stephanie.
Suspended from school or suspended to work, you don't show up. You stay home. I don't understand.
Well, do you think they're going to raise the stakes on her a little bit and maybe say, you know what, you need to see the doctor today or you're off of WrestleMania?
No.
Maybe for her actions, they're going to try to force her hand.
What if it's just what if it's collusion and they bring her in, they invite her to Raw, and they say, all right, Becky, come on in this room here. We're going to do this interview with you. And then they lock the door, turn on all the lights, and there's a doctor in there. And they force her to go to the doctor.
What are we talking about? This is the United States of America. You're not allowed to do that. That sounds horrible. You cannot be doing this.
It's not going to be an evil doctor.
I have a feeling they're going to have a doctor dressed up like Kenny Omega was dressed up on that one episode of Being the Elite. Triple J, the Halloween episode.
One episode.
I almost want to stop talking about this because it's making me uncomfortable. This is Becky Lynch's body. What are we doing here, McMahons? It's her body, her choice.
Long Alan, you're right. We need to keep this thing moving. And we can
keep talking about Becky Lynch. I'm down.
No, Wired. I can tell that you wanna avoid this. So let's
I'm surprised you showed up because Seth Rollins didn't show up to Monday Night Raw, but I'm surprised you did, Wired, considering you two are in the same playbook right now.
I mean, we're not. I mean, okay.
Let's just all move into the courtroom next door here. We've got some business to take care of. Wired, I can see you're perspiring very much right now because you know what's going to happen.
Yep, take a seat right here. Hello, Judge. Wired, how you doing? Hey guys, I'm gonna lay out. I'm gonna watch this whole thing. Triple J handle.
All right, everyone, please rise for the honorable Judge Jumpin' Jacob J. and a man called Wired going forward, you may refer to me as Quadruple J. Now, the matter of the fact here, we have a man called Wired who is on trial once again here for being alleged collusion in helping and willing Seth Rollins to win the 2019 Royal Rumble. A man called Wired, you have the opening statement. First of all, let me ask you, will you be defending yourself?
Yes, I will.
Okay, you have the opening statement, sir.
I mean, I thought the prosecution has the opening statement, but it's fine. Quadruple
who's
J.
standing up here, or who's sitting up here in this big graduation gown?
Hey, this is Brainbusters court. Respect the judge.
I will say this. Thank you. Thank you, Yahara. I will say that this is up to the prosecution to prove its case. There is no evidence in this case that shows that I have colluded. If anything, there's collusion on the other Brainbusters. Good it's okay.
Nothing, jackass.
And I also believe that this is very sexist. Thank you.
I think that's sexist.
Thank you, Alexa. Thank you.
Long Allen, I know you said you were going to lay out, but I believe you have a prepared statement that you were asked to read. Is that correct?
Triple J. I'm not going to be speaking any further after this. I just want to say that on behalf of the rest of the Brainbusters and the Brainbuster Radio universe, we will be represented, the prosecution side, by a good friend of the show and known political junkie, Mr. James Carville, if you would allow him to, Judge Quadruple J.
Mr. Carville, yes, I do allow that in my courtroom.
Well, thank you, Quadruple J, Judge. I'm here today because you see, when people are dying down here thinking about the Royal Rumble is so important to the road to WrestleMania, and a man called Wyatt just so happens, Judge, to be there at the same time Seth Rollins wins Royal Rumble, same time, same place, same exact moment, much like WrestleMania 31. Let me take back that. WrestleMania 31, collusion. The keyword of the day, collusion. When a man called Wyatt, first WrestleMania he attends, Seth Rollins comes out, rolls that rare WrestleMania, main event all time. Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, greatest match ever seen. Ever. Best since I've seen LSU win national championship. Best. Nick Saban pales in comparison. But what happens? It's ruined. Collusion. A man called Wyatt, Seth Rollins, the known history between the two, and I think the same happened at the Royal Rumble.
No, a man called Wyatt, I do see on this official docket here that the attendance record was broken at Levi Stadium, WrestleMania 31, and I do see your name on this. Do you dispute this fact?
I've never disputed the amount.
And I also see at this just 2 weeks ago at the Royal Rumble, the record attendance was broken there as well, and I see your name on this doc as well. Do you dispute that?
No.
Do you have any response to Mr. Carville saying that you were at both of these events where Seth Rollins ruined the greatest main event in WrestleMania history. Roman Reigns was 30 seconds away from winning that.
Yes.
And that Seth Rollins was inconspicuously absent from the Rumble for a number of minutes because he was, quote unquote, laying low outside of the ring. Do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, I will say that, Your Honor, can I say Your Honor, or do I have to say Quadruple J? Just curious.
Quadruple J.
Okay. Quadruple J, I will say that I was also in attendance at the greatest WrestleMania of all time, WrestleMania 32, in terms of attendance, where Seth Rollins was not there at all. If you don't know this, a man called Wyatt does set attendance records at pretty much every event he goes to. So whether or not what happens based on the decisions made by WWE is not pertaining to my attendance, is because I break attendance.
Quadruple J, this is a giant pile of monkey dung that is besmirching your courtroom right now, coming out of your man's mouth right now.
Mr. Carville, I say you definitely want to say something about WrestleMania 32 being the greatest WrestleMania of all time. So please, I'll give you a minute to say that.
Great WrestleMania 32, great WrestleMania. Great WrestleMania. No Seth Rollins inside was great. It was great. Once upon a time, there was a moment in time where there was no Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. It was great. It was like watching SEC championship without Alabama in it. It was great. But you know what? It doesn't matter. That was not the greatest WrestleMania of all time. The greatest WrestleMania of all time, we all know, was when Roman Reigns defeated The Undertaker and ended him, retired him, killed him off. Roman Reigns won that, and that was great. The main event of WrestleMania. The year before, great beating Triple H. But you know what? A lot of people knew that would happen. No, none of that matters, though. What matters is the word of the day, which I did not hear Wyatt say. He needs to be explaining collusion. There was collusion between a man called Wyatt, between Seth Rollins, and I'm going to also postulate here, if I can, a referee. There's a referee somewhere in there that was involved, allowing Seth Rollins to hide his scummy little sleazy ass outside that Royal Rumble and hide and not even be in the ring. Well, what about the unwritten
rules?
rules?
I'm colluded with the ref?
Had a referee keep an eye out, tell Seth Rollins when to jump into the ring. You had the bird's eye view. Bird's eye view. Yeah.
Quadruple judge, please sit this man down.
It's quadruple J.
Whatever.
That's collusion.
Sure.
Why? Explain the collusion.
You have this man sitting out, Long Island Iced Tea over here, just watching over here. Watching. I mean, he has like 7 monitors in front of him. That doesn't even make any sense. Look.
I am not on trial today, Wired.
He was the one who pushed.
Stop bringing
Seth Rollins. No, play the tape. Should we play the tape? Do I need to get that into evidence?
We can't locate that tape right now. We can't locate that tape right now, Mr. Wired.
Judge, which side are you on? He was asking when is Seth Rollins going to get his hype last WrestleMania, and look what's happening this WrestleMania. This isn't something that I've brought up.
I don't recall that ever happening.
Listen to last week's show.
Allow me to say
sooner
this.
Than WrestleMania 31.
A man called Wyatt is referring.
Mr. Carville, you have the floor.
A man called Wyatt is referring to Long Island Iced Tea last year fulfilling an obligation in a punishment because a man called Wyatt won the Brainbuster Radio Royal Rumble, forced Long Island Iced Tea to say despicable things, but that was his right as the winner of the Brainbuster Radio Royal Rumble. This year, man called Wyatt quickly knew he would not win the Brainbuster Radio Royal Rumble, so what did he do? He colluded to influence the WWE Royal Rumble. Quadruple J, he influenced it, helped Seth Rollins win, his man, his favorite wrestler. I seen him. A man called Wyatt owns, you know why he owns every single wrestling shirt from the WWE Shop Zone? It's because he buys them all to disguise that he colludes and loves Seth Rollins the most. He wears those the most. He wears them to bed. I seen it.
Why are you watching me while I'm going to bed? That's just Quadruple J.
It is my right as an American.
What was your punishment last year for WrestleMania?
Excuse me, Mr. Wired. I am not on trial.
I'm just asking you a question.
Now, so that will be stricken from the record book. Now, I was just handling some evidence right here. Let me see. This is a cassette tape labeled from Jay Ventura, which I think we have to play shortly, but there's a quick note on it. Mr. Wired, can I ask you, are you currently engaged and planning to get married in the month of May?
Yes, that is true.
And Mr. Wired, is it also true that Seth Rollins was born in the month of May? Again, I'm just reading this note in front of me. I'm not making any accusations.
I believe Seth Rollins was born one of the 12 months.
If I may interject here, Quadruple J, if we could play the tape provided by Mr. Governor Ventura, I believe it might shed some light on this here matter.
Yeah, sure. Let me load this thing up real quickly here.
Why are you playing the cassette tape?
And play.
Hello, Jesse the Body Ventura here. Just wanted to interject into this Brainbusters court. The word of the day is collusion, and of course, a man called Wired colluded with Seth Rollins. The writing's on the wall. If there's thermite inside the World Trade Center, all you have to do is look into the building. What did I do? I looked into the building. I looked at the records, the Hall of Records, and I found that a man called Wired's wedding is going to be happening in the month of May. Who's born in the month of May? Well, of course, Seth Rollins is born in the month of May. Is it a coincidence? No, there's collusion. A birthday party, a wedding on the same day. It is collusion at its fullest. It's a sham. It's terrible. It is a conspiracy, and it's only going to get worse unless something's done about it. Thank you.
That's the man we're going to listen to, the man who's been outcasted by...
That man was democratically elected a governor of a state in this union. He is a well-respected American.
What are you talking about?
He's a well-respected man, and he was a third-party candidate.
It is not up to the defense, in my case, a man called Wired, to dispute to prove that he had not colluded. It is up to the prosecution to prove that he has colluded, and all I hear is a bunch of mumble-jumbo bullshit, and I want all these charges.
All right, everybody shut up. I'm banging my gavel. Everybody shut up.
You don't have to tell us your bet. You just have to bet it.
Okay. I have the verdict here from the jury. I would like to thank all of you for your composure during all of this. I know there were some heated exchanges and honestly some personal attacks levied here today that is unbefitting of this courtroom. Mr. Wired, would you please stand? Okay, so the official verdict levied by the Honorable Quadruple J, that's Judge Jumping Jacob J, is that I am the winner of the 2019 Brainbuster Radio Royal Rumble.
This week's show is brought to you by Pretty Easy Podcasts, helping podcasters get their shows off the ground, up and running, and sounding great. Professional podcast production at extremely affordable rates. Do yourself a favor if you're thinking about doing a podcast, but you don't really have a whole lot of time to manage the editing, the posting of the show, and making it sound as good as possible. Go to prettyeasypodcast.com because they'll help you do it at a great rate, and it doesn't matter what your show's about. It could be a sports show, a food show, business. It could be a show about extremely rare birds. Doesn't matter. Go to prettyeasypodcast.com and they'll help you get your show off the ground, up and running, and sounding great today. Whatever your passion is, Pretty Easy Podcast is ready to help you enjoy it even more. Everybody has a podcast these days, right? Get in on the fun and go to prettyeasypodcast.com today, or just email them to get started at prettyeasypodcasts@gmail.com. Pretty Easy Podcast, making podcasting, pretty easy. This week on Brainbuster Radio Headlines, NXT gets rocked. There's a pool party massacre in Las Vegas, and we're ready to go double or nothing. This week, Brainbuster Radio Headlines are brought to you in part by Marburger Cheap Ass Airfare. Marburger Cheap Ass Airfare. They have the spirit to wow you in the air with great prices, unlimited free checked baggage, and huge seats for even the fattest of asses. Marburger Cheap Ass Airlines. All right. I think I'm going to be taking that to Vegas if I go to double or nothing.
How about to Los Angeles? You know, you still got to do that, by the way.
For what? I'm not going to Seth Rollins' birthday party, okay? I want to start headlines this week, though, by talking about what might be the debut of the ages and maybe the greatest NXT debut of all time. The debut that was this past week on NXT of Eric Bugenhagen. Who saw the debut of Eric Bugenhagen? Triple J, did you see it?
I did see it. You watched it before me, but you just sent me a message that said, you'll know it when you see it. And boy, did I see it.
How about you Wired?
Of course I did. Triple J, you're lucky that Long Island told you to watch that. I mean, if not, you'd still be buffering to watch it now. But
no, I was going to watch NXT this week. That was on my list.
Which one? That's the question. But no, this was a great. I mean, he brought some energy into that building that I haven't seen since Roman Reigns was there. Or whoever. It was
the intensity, the passion, and the euphoria was sky high, guys. It was amazing. The crowd, when he came out and he screamed, "Yeah!" They didn't know what to think. They didn't know who's this guy coming out dressed like one of the Rockers and screaming in that high falsetto. And then, I mean, he was just playing air guitar, air drums, air keyboards, and he was playing the ropes. And before you knew it, the energy emitting from this man completely engulfed the Full Sail crowd. And they didn't even want the match with Drew Gulak to start. The whole crowd was playing air instruments. It was like watching a Kiss concert, Triple J.
Oh, it was amazing. And Wired, would you say that Eric Bugenhagen, everything with that a returning Drew Gulak and all the stretching that was involved, this overshadowed that.
Overshadowed the whole show.
Nonetheless, you got to remember this individual lost the match, and then after that night of NXT tapings, he was asked to come out for an encore.
Look, I will say this: when David Grohl Dave Grohl, I'm sorry, was out there and shredding on the guitar basically, and then broke his leg on stage. What did people talk about? They talked about the broken leg. When Eric Bugenhagen was out there shredding on the stage, and even though he lost the match, he shredded so perfectly that they asked for an encore. That's what people were talking about. That's how good this man is at the air guitar. I mean, he is setting the bar high for all future guitarists in the WWE.
Oh my goodness! The when you see a guy debut like that, the electricity, the energy, the passion, it's amazing. But also, your mind starts going a mile a minute. Oh my God, this guy he's on fire. I want to watch so much of him. How much is there to offer? What could he possibly do? Imagine if he feuded with guys like Elias or Jeff Jarrett or Tommaso Ciampa or the WWE champion Daniel Bryan. I mean, the possibilities are endless. Where does he fit in? I don't know. All I know is that I want to see more of him, and I know that people are going to compare him to other people, but I don't see it. I understand it seems gimmicky to people, and they want to say things like Adam Rose, Triple J, or they want to say that he's like a No Way Jose, but the thing is, that guy is, there's no faking that. That's not an act. That dude is like that.
They definitely got something.
He's a rocker through and through.
People are going to want to see a lot more of him. You're right. I did mention to you, I hope people don't turn on him like they turned on him with Adam Rose. I mean, Long Island.
You got to win. That is though. You got to win.
Not necessarily.
You have to entertain.
You got to win every once in a while.
You don't have to win
them all.
And the thing is, Adam Rose was not this, bus ride and party animal that he was, claiming to be. No Way Jose, when he gets to the back, the conga line stops. The rocking does not stop with Eric Bugenhagen.
Is he now in catering, you think, just playing with the French fries or something?
Oh, yeah, he's got a plastic spoon in one hand and a knife in the other hand, and he's just hitting that snare.
I mean, wherever the situation calls for, bass, percussion, vocals, guitar, he's going to play it at that moment. This guy, and he's jacked. Let's talk about, this guy was an All-American at Wisconsin. He's an amazing promo. Not only was the match great, but he cut one backstage in an interview. And I just want to rock so hard. And I want to watch Eric Bugenhagen. Rock and wrestling is finally back together, Triple J.
Yeah, you're right. If I was a body guy, I would be singing the praises of this individual so much. But Long Island, we got to move on. But before we do, I just got to say that had to be a crazy, crazy night in Full Sail. Hysteria. Man, those people wanted to rock in there. They felt the noise, and they were just aboard that crazy train for one hell of a time.
I'll tell you this, Triple J. NXT gave rock and roll to those people. They put it in the soul, and then Eric Bugenhagen put it in the soul of everyone. And now rock and roll will live forever on NXT through Eric Bugenhagen. But also, if you just think about what's going on NXT right now, you've got characters like Eric Bugenhagen, which, great name, by the way. People trying to argue, I saw on the social media gimmicks wire, that, great, he's awesome, but what's with the name? It's a badass name. It's Bugenhagen. What the fuck? I don't need him called anything else but Eric Bugenhagen. Rick Boogs, I'm heard he is what he used to be called. Sure, that's cool, but Bugenhagen is fun to chant.
I see nothing wrong with this. With the name, I mean, he fits, right? Everything about him is perfect right now, and there's no reason to change it. So get over it. Just learn how to. Just remember that it's Hagen over Hagen. Just move forward.
His theme song's not out yet, so Dr. Calzones told me to sing it. He couldn't play it. It's not out. It's a pretty rockin' tune, though. Triple J. Good tune, good energy. It was also fun to see Drew Gulak cut a promo about people getting stretched.
Yeah, that was great.
But going back, you've got characters like Bugenhagen. You've got characters like the original Bro, Matt Riddle. Bro. You've got Velveteen Dream on NXT. I mean, they put the old 1992 WWF Superstars episodes up on the network, Triple J, but why watch those when you could see just this flamboyant of a character on new NXT episodes?
Yeah, it's right there for everyone. I hope we're going to see much more of them. But Long Island, let's go from the stage to the pool party next.
Boom, 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 boom. I'm sorry. So it's going to be now that rock and roll has been
infectious.
It's put into my.
Okay.
It's a rock infection.
The only thing that would have made it better is if he got on the mic and went, "Who wants to get infected?"
Yeah. Oh man, I've got a rock and roll fever, but yeah, you're right. We got to take it to the pool party. Triple J, Eric Bugenhagen. You're gonna, even if he's not on NXT, we'll be talking about him on Brainbuster Radio a whole lot because that's the spirit, that's the essence, it's the passion, the energy that belongs in professional wrestling always. But All Elite Wrestling had themselves a pool party massacre, and it was full of big news, full of fun, very cold. Nobody actually went swimming, but it was an event. It was a happening, Triple J. And we'll start off talking about some of the debuts, the announcements made, new roster additions, including the Best Friends, who were dressed like Scott Hall in 1996.
Yeah, of course. Greg and Dustin, Kentucky Gentleman, Chucky T, and Trent Beretta. I guess they're officially in it. So, again, are they on their way out of New Japan? Are they on their way out of Ring of Honor? Is there, do they have dates to finish up? We don't know, but a man called Wired, you are familiar with the Best Friends. Are these guys going to put butts in the seats for All Elite Wrestling?
They might put heads on the pillows, I think, is probably more so what's going to happen. But look, I watched this entire thing on social media in about 30 seconds, skimming through Brandy Rhodes' story. I didn't even notice them. Sorry.
You didn't see the Best Friends?
I didn't notice. I didn't know. I thought there were just security guards waiting for the next people to come up and making sure nobody jumped the stage.
Well, the reason why Wired Triple J doesn't know about the Best Friends and how entertaining they are is because he's probably only watched them through New Japan or Ring of Honor, where those guys weren't ever given as much mic time as they had at All Elite's pool party. So they came out. They're a great addition because when that show starts, you know that they will be given a chance to shine. And I think when the Kentucky Gentleman especially is given a microphone, it can be highly entertaining.
Oh, it could definitely be entertaining. That no doubt about that. I still believe that funny equals money. And it's I'm not going to say it's a great get for them, but I mean that's the thing with AEW that we haven't discussed at length. You can't just hire all your friends because they're your friends. This is a business, and the backers of this, they're not going to put up with it for very long unless they see the results that you're promising them. So,
well, I think they're going to get. These are friends you do bring on because they're solid in the 20x20, and they've got the power of friendship. And they were dressed like Scott Hall in all denim. They know how to deliver. You're right though. You don't always hire your friends. You sometimes hire and sign people you despise or your rivals, and that's what the Young Bucks did. They want to make tag team wrestling great in AEW, the best in the world. And they went out and they signed a team that really is a threat to their standing as the best tag team in the universe.
It just seems like this is the springtime football of the wrestling world right now. Just everybody who doesn't want to.
You don't get any better in tag team wrestling than the other tag team the Young Bucks signed, and those are the Lucha Bros, bro. The Lucha Brothers being signed, that is as elite as it gets in tag wrestling. Pentagon Jr., Phoenix, and the Young Bucks. This is a rivalry that could go on in All Elite Wrestling for years and be entertaining every single time. And if you ask me, this should be the main event for Double or Nothing. Young Bucks and Lucha Brothers. This involved an interference from the Lucha Brothers at the pool party. They weren't expected to show up. We got a super kick onto Nick. Matt got package pile driven by Pentagon, and a match was accepted. Best tag team in the universe match at Double or Nothing.
Yeah, everybody was, really chanting Sierra Miedo out there. Again, it's
Cero Miedo.
It's my criticism that I've brought up before. There's got to be some heels in this. If all these people were there because of the Young Bucks, and then a team comes out and super kicks them and package power drives them, somebody's going to be getting some heat out of this. And that's really not what we heard at all there.
It's just a spot. It's a spot life.
This does not need. These are two so super
personal
popular
issues.
Teams.
This doesn't need this doesn't need what professional wrestling has had for its entire life. No, it's for the entire history of professional wrestling. AEW doesn't need what's brought wrestling to what
you think they're rewriting the rules, or is that some Georgia sarcasm?
And that was fucking Bryant sarcasm. Yes, fourth wall gone.
What do you not understand?
Why are we even talking about this?
Do you not understand the words change the world? Doesn't matter what old stuff has worked. These are super popular teams that are going to go out there and destroy it in the ring. And also with All Elite Wrestling, they'll have an opportunity to build some kind of story now. And just because of how super popular the Lucha Bros are and how super popular the Young Bucks are, the fact that they interacted at this Pool Party Massacre is enough to get people intrigued. Ears perked up, tickets were bought, the site crashed. Everybody's trying to get to Double or Nothing to see the Young Bucks take on the Lucha Bros.
Well, of course, yeah. It's selling tickets, no doubt about that. It's just going forward for a wrestling program. You need heroes and you need villains. Who's
the worst?
Who are the Rudos?
What about the bastard? Pac. What a piece of crap. Interrupting a fun pool party with a mean video of his ugly face. And he
wasn't even there?
He's so hard to look at.
Live via satellite.
Oh, my God.
What a heel, right? Didn't even show up to the party.
He was on the other side of the world, Ward.
And
why? AEW's in Vegas. Why isn't he there? I don't understand.
He challenged the Hangman Adam Page. I mean, everybody loves the Hangman. Everybody hates a bastard. Pac and the Hangman. This, I think, was the most entertaining part of the pool party, Triple J, because Pac, I mean, what an ass. He said a bunch of true things, but stuff I didn't want to hear, and that's what makes him a real bastard.
He does a really good style of promo, especially in that voice. Hangman.
What a dick.
And I believe this was the first, because this was earlier in the pool party, so this is the first official match announced. We don't know if they're going to make up a title, and this match is going to be for that title, because the Hangman, again, he is still reiterating that he wants to be the first ever AEW World Champion. I don't think they're going to do that yet, though. I think this is just going to be a one-off.
Oh, Double or Nothing doesn't need any title matches. We've got some big matches already made and some big announcements, and who knows what kind of surprises will happen there. But Hangman and Pac definitely could steal the show at Double or Nothing.
Yeah, nobody's going to disagree with that. We also had a lot of introduction. Well, not that many live in person introduction of the ladies in AEW, but we also learned a lot more about that, Long Island. Why don't you talk to us about your favorite?
Oh, the American Kaiju, Nyla Rose. Oh my, you want some beef in AEW? That's a lot of beef and a lot of lady. She came out there, had a stare down with the very likable Kylie Ray, who.
Wired, you know a lot about Kylie Ray. You were telling us about.
Different Kylie Ray.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, Kylie Ray's very likable. If you don't know about her, when you watch her, you're gonna say, "Man, I just like her. She's a nice young woman." But the American Kaiju, Nyla Rose, not a nice young woman, kind of a mean, nasty woman who's there and she's all business. She's all elite and she's all business. I can't wait to see those two get it on. We also had the announcement of Sonny Kiss is coming to AEW. Sonny Kiss, who was a part of Lucha Underground and is much in the same vein as Pimpalera Escalera there, Triple J, if you remember Pippi from Lucha Underground, kind of a androgynous, or you might even say homosexual style wrestler. He likes to use his booty, that Sonny Kiss, and he's very talented.
Yeah, Sonny Kiss was out there early. Do I still say he? It's 2019. I don't know how these.
I'm pretty sure the preferred pronoun is he for Sonny Kiss.
Okay, so yeah, he's out there. They had him out there early, so they think highly of Sonny Kiss.
Changing the world. I love it.
I was not watching Lucha Underground whenever he was. You said he was on Lucha Underground?
Yes.
I stopped sometime before that, but I trust in whoever's judgment.
I mean that's a very entertaining individual, Sonny Kiss. And then we also, speaking of Lucha Underground, we've got word before the pool party, a big announcement.
Lo primero que queremos hacer es felicitar a Tony, a Cody, a los Young Bucks por esta gran iniciativa y por esta gran empresa, All Elite Wrestling. La verdad estamos muy emocionados, sé que van a cambiar el mundo de la lucha libre. Desde México, desafortunadamente no pudimos asistir el día de hoy, pero estamos muy contentos de poder realizar este anuncio con ustedes. El anuncio es que Lucha Libre AAA Worldwide junto con All Elite Wrestling se unen en una nueva alianza que le presentará nuevas sorpresas a los aficionados, intercambio de talento, gente sorpresa y pues bueno, todas las sorpresas que se vienen para este año. Así que no me queda más que desearles mucha suerte en su siguiente evento en Las Vegas en el mes de mayo y por favor manténganse al tanto. Desde AAA les mandamos un abrazo y esperamos verlos pronto en México.
Triple J, translate please.
Don't do that to Triple J.
Word for word.
I'll just tell you what the head of AAA said, sending that message to All Elite Wrestling and all the fans. Basically said that all the love, all the hugs from us here. We can't wait to work with AEW. All the hugs. This is a hug that is going to fuel professional wrestling with some much needed positive energy. I think getting AAA on board with AEW opens up the doors for so many amazing talents to be involved in All Elite Wrestling, including, but not limited to, La Parka, Psycho Clown, Dr. Wagner Jr., and so many more. This is amazing that they are teamed up with AAA.
Yeah, everybody was always thinking, what is that going to be like if Psycho Clown and Sonny Kiss lock up?
Oh, we might
definitely
see it.
Clash of styles there.
Let me just say, I want that match booked for Double or Nothing. That would be amazing. Another big team up here, of course, is with Oriental Wrestling Entertainment.
Careful.
And the legendary Shima, who is a part of that organization. He was there along with two other representatives of OWE, and they were introduced by SCU. And a challenge was laid down by Christopher Daniels for Shima to get two of his friends from OWE for a 6-man tag at Double or Nothing. What stood out? This was very entertaining. For me, Triple J, I don't know about you, but the representatives of Oriental Wrestling Entertainment were very, very entertaining and hyped to be a part of AEW.
Yes. What was the gentleman in the blue suit? What was his name again? Do you know that?
I don't remember his name. He was the general manager with Michael something.
Okay, because whatever his name was, he looked like he could kick anybody's ass, maybe short of Chris Jericho that was on that pool party.
But then you had the true Kung Fu master was there too, Dragon Fu. Dragon Fu was there.
How many years of Kung Fu are they going to be bringing over with them?
5,000 years of Kung Fu, Wired, is being brought from OWE to America through AEW.
Oh, that's right. And the current champions in WWE are Kung Fu Masters. I forgot. My bad. Very important statistic.
5,000 years, though.
5,000 years? That's before Christ, Triple J. Well, what? That doesn't even make any sense.
Well, that's a topic for another. This podcast doesn't discuss that.
Yeah, you want to get into that stuff. I mean, I know China's existed for a long time. Yeah, if you want to debate that, go on another forum, Wired. All I know is that I'm pretty sure Kung Fu's been around a very long-ass time, but it has not been a part of professional wrestling the way OWE is going to make it part of it. I can't wait to see some goddamn Kung Fu at Double or Nothing. Who does Shima bring over, Triple J? He's got to get two partners to take on SCU.
I don't know anybody, on that roster.
How many? Three around?
If they're bringing 5,000 years of Kung Fu, how much time of Kung Fu does Daniels, Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky have between them? Like 25 minutes?
They have about 6,000 years of life between the three of them. For sure.
Yeah, but that's mostly Daniels.
That doesn't matter. Oh my god! Are you guys going to this? By the way, did tickets go on sale? I don't even know what the status is of all this.
You could. So they set it up where you could, how was that? You could you pre-ordered a pre-order on their site. And then I believe Monday morning, they would send you a special code where you would have a reserved ticket on Monday morning. That's still up in the air, but we're probably not going to make it this year. A Man Called Wired. The Marburgers, they just have some other expenses that they're going to pay for. I don't think it's in the budget, but never say never.
I think Triple J's trying to hide it, but I think what we're saying, Wired, is that instead of going to that, we're going to go crash Seth Rollins' birthday party and ruin it that month. So that's the big trip we're taking in May. But Double or Nothing is going to be streamed on pay-per-view. It's going to be easily accessible, and it's going to have Kung Fu, which I can't wait for. What is with Wired shitting all over All Elite Wrestling? How do you not get excited about professional wrestling happening near a pool? I mean, did you not enjoy Nitro ever?
Yeah, of course it did. I actually watched it last Monday, didn't you guys?
5,000 years of Kung Fu.
Chris Jericho interrupted new executive vice president of All Elite Wrestling, Kenny Omega, who came out finally after months of speculation. The inevitable happened, and he rejoined his Elite brothers, and he's also labeled as an executive VP, just like the Bucks and Cody, Triple J, and he was out there speaking to his people. It was a very feel-good moment, and evil Chris Jericho in his detective hat came out and ruined the fun.
Yes, this was the mirror universe of Carmen Sandiego, played by Chris Jericho. A new challenger appeared in Kenny Omega. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, Long Island. These two, they faced off one-on-one.
Yes,
at Wrestle Kingdom, and then they were in that Alpha Club versus Bullet Club match, right? That's the only time we've seen these two hook up.
Yes, the
rematch is Club side. Just curious, I didn't even know about this match.
That was the Young Bucks and Chris Jericho. But
the Bucks of Jericho.
We have not seen, or is it Y2 Jackson? We haven't seen the rematch from Wrestle Kingdom. It's over a year in the making, and it's finally going to apparently happen at Double or Nothing. Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, renewing their hostilities, and this time on American soil in Las Vegas. It doesn't get any bigger than the fight capital of the world and a 5-star fight between Jericho and Omega. I mean, if the tag match for the best tag team in the universe isn't the main event, this is your main event of Double or Nothing.
Now, do you think this has to be no disqualification? That's usually what we've seen Chris Jericho working lately. Or do you think this can just be a traditional wrestling match?
I'm sure Jericho wants it no DQ, and Kenny Omega probably wants it traditional wrestling match. We'll see what they do. Either way, I think Jericho is fine to go bell to bell with Omega in a traditional match where tables and chairs aren't being used, but we'll see. Time will only tell. I don't care what stipulation is, as long as the two get it back on, because we need more of what happened at Wrestle Kingdom 12. Jericho, is he going to be wearing makeup in AEW? I don't know, Triple J. Is he going to play his own music coming to the ring? Is he going to Eric Bugenhagen it? You can't let Eric Bugenhagen hog all the rock and roll in pro wrestling. Jericho is all about rocking hard. So AEW might be kind of a good place for Fozzy to maybe be involved. And they could be playing him to the ring maybe against Kenny Omega at the MGM Grand Arena. I don't know. All I know is that this thing ended in a brawl. Nobody ended up in the pool, though. I was surprised by that.
Yeah, very surprising. Nobody in the pool. And, you're talking about rock and roll. I think that really needs to be saved whenever Kazarian and Chris Jericho start feuding, because then you can have the battle of the bands, Fozzy versus Vex Temper.
I think that might be one-sided. I don't know. Vex Temper has never played Ozfest. Have they?
I wouldn't think.
Or the Download Festival. AEW's Pool Party Massacre. Overall thoughts. Conrad Thompson was there. Wired, you like him at least?
I mean, I like his podcast. I don't know if I necessarily like him directly, but sure. They're trying. I'll give them that. They're all trying to get this off the ground. That's
you
fine.
Do know that it's professional wrestling, right?
Of course.
So
I don't have to like every form of professional wrestling, Long Island.
Why wouldn't you, is my question. Especially pro wrestling that involves 5,000 years of Kung Fu. Is there any other news this week, Triple J that we missed? And also Brainiac's other news headlines this week. Wired colluded with Seth Rollins.
Well,
That's not what
we can't officially say that, Long Island. I mean, I'm not presiding right now. I'm not in my robe right now, but I don't think we can say that. I'm sure there's something we missed, but, we got a hard out coming up here, so it is time for you-know-what.
Yes, I know exactly what, and that would be Brainbuster Radio, Falls Count Anywhere.
This week on ROHWrestling.com, a huge announcement was made. And no, I'm not talking about new talent signed, new talent booked for the World of Wars tour. I'm talking about the headline that everyone's talking about. The ROH Board of Directors empowers referees to more strictly enforce rules. This is just great. We need more law and order in professional wrestling. Ring of Honor going to get back more closely to what it was founding on the Code of Honor. And if I can just read you 2 quick sentences from ROHWrestling.com, this is the best. Quote, if a manager or second is caught interfering in a match in any manner, the referee is encouraged to immediately eject the offender from ringside or disqualify the competitor the offender is managing/second. Depending on the severity of the infraction, a fine can be levied on the offender, and he or she can have their license revoked. End quote. We talk about how difficult it is to get a managing license. This could be revoked just for, dastardly tactics. This is so good. This is going to clean up the wrestling business. I think this is quickly going to transition into WWE. More law and order in Ring of Honor. The Stripes, they get all the power. I just can't wait for this.
Brainiacs in his eye. A man called Wired. And we didn't bring it up on the show today, thank God, because I know Triple J would have talked about it for about 45 minutes, so you're welcome, Brainiacs. But it was announced that Nia Jax will be taking on Dean Ambrose in a house show match. Later on, I believe it's this month, maybe? I don't know exactly when. And here's what I think about that. Nia Jax, really? That's who you picked? Dean Ambrose, really? I think it's great for professional wrestling that this gender wall is being broken. But come on. Someone who's basically on the way out, someone who doesn't even care, probably going to hurt Dean Ambrose like she did Becky Lynch. Pick better opponents next time. But otherwise, good job. I like it.
Brainiacs, before we let you go today, I just want to tell you again that whenever you're watching professional wrestling, you should always be on your toes and ready to rock at a moment's notice. You can't forget that. The roots of professional wrestling are in the same ground as the roots of rock and roll. And when the two come together, it is the best thing under God's hot sun. And with the debut of Eric Bugenhagen in NXT, we were finally reminded that professional wrestling doesn't have to always be about anger or personal issues or someone's getting screwed or someone faking an injury so that they don't have to wrestle on the road to WrestleMania. Sometimes it's just about rocking hard and having a good time. So thanks to Eric Bugenhagen for reminding us all about that this week. And thanks to NXT for giving us, just countless characters recently that are just so exciting to watch, so fun and entertaining. When you think about Eric Bugenhagen and the charisma of him and guys like Matt Riddle and the essence, the aura, the experience of the Velveteen Dream on NXT, it's amazing. And oh no, I almost forgot. There's also NXT across the pond. And that's entertaining too. And they've got characters too. And no!
5,000 years of Kung Fu.
5,000. That's not. I don't even think that's up for debate. I'm on Wikipedia. Kung Fu's been around that long.
You don't need a trial to know that.
You don't. Do you think Walter knows Kung Fu?
I don't think Walter.
I think he knows
as scary
more
as it
Kung
is.
Pao
I don't think he needs
and like
Kung
chicken,
Fu.
shrimp, beef Kung Pao. I think that's more his style.
Yeah, I would like to see Walter take on someone who knows Kung Fu, or Walter in the Velveteen Dream, Matt Riddle. I just hope one of these characters shows up at WrestleMania, especially if we're going to have to endure Seth Rollins' main event, Triple J. You see how I'm trying to stay positive by focusing on these entertaining characters because the main event of WrestleMania is ruined by Seth Rollins?
I understand what you're doing there.
Brainiacs, I highly recommend it. It's really helping me along the road to WrestleMania. Hopefully you're having smooth ride to New York City. How about you, Wired? I mean, you were on trial today for collusion, but other than that, how's your road to WrestleMania going?
It's great. Everything's booked. I'm ready to go. I'm excited to meet some people that I haven't met before. That you said there's going to be some special guest appearances at the Brainbuster Radio tailgate. This is going to be a great. I'm ready. I'm pumped.
Oh yeah, the Brainbuster Radio WrestleMania tailgate. It's going to be awesome. There's going to be intensity. There's going to be energy. There's going to be passion and euphoria. Triple J is going to be sky high.
5,000 years.
5,000 years of professional wrestling and beyond. Brainiacs, that does it for this week's show. Tweet it, read it, tout it, shout it, be all about it. At the Brainbusters. Let us know how you like to rock. Maybe send us a video of you playing air guitar to Eric Bugenhagen's theme. I'd like to see that. Or show us some Kung Fu moves. That'd be cool. Send us a tweet or Instagram Junior, Facebook, whatever you want. At the Brainbusters. BrainbusterRadio.com. Moose the Mark No show today. He's apparently super angry still about something. I have a feeling Wired's going to be joining. You sound like Moose, a really angry young male today. Wired, did you take your pills?
I knew I forgot something. Shit.
Wired, take your pills next week and come a little more jolly, ready to rock. 4, a man called Wired. 4, Jumpin' Jacob J. Vinman Unlimited 8. Dr. Mil Calzones on the unos and doses, cranking it up to 11. Moose the Mark on the Internet Gimmicks, and Long Island Iced Tea. I'm Long Island Iced Tea, Brainiacs, saying I gotta get the hell out of here. And